Okay, hey, it's Will once again. This is the second time I'm trying to record this. First time it already failed, so it's been 2 weeks nearly since I haven't posted anything up about my book. My book is really jumbled up all over the place. I haven't continued it in about a couple years. Started back in 2019, and well, here we go, guys. Let's keep on reading this bad boy. My father ended up losing his mind. He committed suicide. It's hard for me to even put into words all the pain of losing a loved one, especially to an event that could be prevented. He has taken care of me since I was a baby. My mother left us not so long after I was born. I've never seen her, but I cannot judge. I basically started living on my own when I was 16. Over time, I put into my objectives that I wanted to end up helping people to understand that they have the power over their actions and think of the consequences of said actions. I guess I lost passion for it and eventually ended up here, becoming miserable and repetitive throughout. Albert remembering his father and kind of understanding the why. My parents always pushed me to do my best and always to strive to be better. They always expected the best grades in all my tests and such. When I didn't bring the highest score, I felt shame. I felt anger. That's what always pushed me to be a smart man with much initiative. I feel like I put on a facade because I no longer feel connected to that arrogant version of the ego. I feel as free as ever, even though this physical body and situation may not indicate as such. Though as a child, I do believe I have had some traumatic experiences. I'm trying to recollect memories of times when I was a child and had fear running through my veins. That bloody nose that considered convinced of being one thing and ended up being another. I can't prove if they happened or not. I do recall some of these instances, but at the same time, don't know how I ended up in these situations. Looking back at pictures of me so young, they always had a smile on them. Always enjoying himself, doing peace signs and a little bit of knuckleheadedness that is prevalent in these times. Then, there were times we just never even wanted to take pictures. I locked myself up in my mind and concentrated on indulging in the game and making my moves. Adam wished he could piece together exactly those events. From my understanding and from what close friends of mine since childhood told me, was I would walk around and grab the girls from our grade. I was very hypersexualized as a child. Could this be the motive I was so obsessed with sex before meeting Maria? From my knowledge, my childhood caretakers had daughters who practiced Santeria, or a form of white or black magic, so to speak. They always dressed in black. I don't believe the abuse was just physical, but much more. But I can't put the exact moment into thoughts. Adam with a tear flowing through his eye. Maria changed all of that for me. She made me believe in this idea of love that society presented. Feeling used and abused by psychopaths who didn't care about you, only for the profit you bring. Adam wasn't far off what he was recollecting. He was abused as a child, and these rituals were practiced on him. The caretakers were bringing in children under the guise of a daycare. All the while they were being loaned to perverts and sickos who indulged in satisfying their sinful behavior. It was all starting to come back to him, but it was just a matter of time that he would start understanding more. He saw the big picture, but within that, he also started seeing moments in which he was helpless and hopeless. Wounds heal within time, but one must know when to let go of said past in order to look into the present in which we can bore a better future. The big question was, what would they do and how they would try to release this information to society in order to overthrow the current system for one that was actually for the people. After a few months, honestly, today of all days, there has been a ruckus of sorts. Many of the patients locked at the psych ward are vandalizing the whole asylum. I have to find a way to escape from here. Even here, I believe I'm not safe. They know where I am and will have me killed. The secret has been held so long that would break the psyche of many humans. But I must find my way, for I have seen and spoken too much. A slam at his door and plenty of havoc happening all around. Albert manages to get in Adam's room. Adam helps Albert to push the door shut as there are people chasing after the door. Albert quickly locks the room. It's crazy out there, but I think it's time to carry on with the plan, Albert said with an exasperated voice. What the heck is going on out there? Adam, with a certain adrenaline running through his veins like the times of our ancestors in fight-or-flight reactions. One of the asylum patients has run loose and basically opened the doors for others. It's a slaughterhouse out there. I don't blame the guy, as they were forcing vaccinations among the patients. Could it be the mark? Adam is thinking and said, we have to get out of here. There is no time to waste. I'm sure the people that put you here all were aware of the situation and would be eager if a casualty were to happen. Without a doubt, both of them started heading out of the room. It truly was a massacre out there. Blood, body parts, screams, crying. It truly felt like this was hell. Was to remind us that it was too late to turn back the sands of time. Were they trying to replicate history once again to reset their clocks? If we go by history, we see the essence of plagues indulge in society to point that war only means to get the economy booming. But in doing so, the very lie keeps taking another turn at mental enslavement. This happened about 100 years ago. World War I was on the loom, and the second one was with the threat of the Nazis as they started taking and chipping away at its neighboring countries. With this is the history you are told, but this is the history you perceive to be true. But in all, the entire story is not told. As you see, there are always two sides to the story. Right after the war finished, many Nazi scientists came over to the United States. All that information the Nazi regime held in their hands was being passed on to the world superpower. This is a legit mission that was guided as Operation Paperclip. Everything at their fingertips, from mind control tactics, rituals, etc. It is a complete insanity how much they have kept from the public. The very information that can impact the person blinded by the illusion. Adolf Hitler was a huge occultist. His work is still well underway to enslave humanity under the guise of freedom. Do you not realize that there are multiple realities happening at the very same time that you make a decision? Think about the decision never made and what outcome you would have made. This is not just for one interaction, but the many interactions that have happened from your first breath. This is why the further analogy of demons or aliens living in different levels of dimensions that cannot be seen by the human eye, but ghosts can be seen and felt by domesticated cats or dogs. The paranormal plays a big part in understanding the very nature of morality. The dual balances of the yin and yang, one cannot exist without the other. So in essence, we are shown that wars waged in the past along with the enslavement of others made society progress to a more civilized one, so to speak. It's all in front of us, but a connection must be realized. Society has slept so long that the film is running out, like it has many times. They have chosen the left-hand path, knowing full well the consequences of their actions will further enslave humanity to digitizing all. What better way to sell immortality than one in which you are no longer human? 7 billion souls and counting, all living in rhythm, yet possibly never meeting each other, and yet just being. In a state of unity, as actions cause reactions, and thus become outcomes of other decisions in the grand scheme of a never-ending way of questioning, as all is one and one is all. We have lived eons upon eons, many lives upon lives, to realize that our destiny is one that can be maneuvered, though through actions we have these reactions and the end product that goes along with it. Every single organism on this planet has a creative essence of sorts that connects back to the almighty creator. From single-celled organisms to bipedal domesticated pets, through their body flows this essence. It is at the final stage of consciousness. in which the soul indulges the fabric of morality into human beings. It is eons of evolution along with adaptations that make such animals passive in certain terrains. That's why there are so many different types of species that have different types of genes. One's related to others but different in their own nature of being. This is the final stage for the human soul to graduate, so to speak. By learning to tell wrong from right, even under the pressure of those that pressure them into being something that they should not. It can take many lifetimes for the human to begin understanding their very essence. It is not easy, as this illusion is presented in a way that it has been normalized through decades of mind programming. It's hard to break this programming as it benefits them in keeping us as slaves, without knowing our true purpose or even how powerful we can be if we all push towards the goal of true progress. We are becoming antisocial at the highest extent. More and more children are being born with conditions such as Asperger's at a higher rate than decades ago. Technology is the final touch in selling us immortality. What is truly on the other side? Why are we so afraid of it? It makes sense as we don't know any more than what we have perceived. All you truly have is family and friends. Imagine the point you grow old and the last person to ever even get a glimpse of you has passed on. Did you ever exist? Were you ever truly here? What is it that we leave behind for our peers to base the foundations of morality on? This is an important question because the impact we have on others can also mold them. But at the same time, while permitting this system to educate the children, we allow them to be brainwashed and basically lost in a way that the superficiality of the ego is what mostly shown. Adam and Albert had to get to the basement floor and escape through the sewers. The front entrance was being guarded by feds along with three-letter agencies. They were looking for Adam. Look, this is the only way in which we can escape without getting any attention. For sure they're here for you. 3 floors is not much. Just keep quiet and follow me. I know this place like the palm of my hand. Albert leads the way, and along that way many gruesome and grotesque images are portrayed through their sight. Some look to have even taken bites off of people. I think that shot had more than a microchip in it. Albert said with a sort of frightened look on his face. Well, I'm not surprised. This will become survival of the fittest at some point. What better way than having the dead be part of it? It's sort of biblical, yet so fascinating how these people pull this stuff off. I only dreamed of seeing this day. Adam looked back while still following Albert. Then, out of nowhere, a scream not so far away begged for help. As Adam peeked through the corner, he saw what was a helpless man begging for his life, while a gentleman in a black suit elaborately pointed at his head. I will ask you nicely once more. Where can I find Adam Washington? I don't know anyone by that name. Please, don't shoot, said the man begging for his life. The agent turns around and says, Boss said no one makes it out breathing from here, so... A loud gunshot is heard and the agent plants a bullet right between the man's head. No survivors, all casualties. No one can know of this operation. The agent chuckles as he walks away. Both Adam and Albert with shocked expressions through their faces. A sense of fear inundated them at the very point. They had to be very careful or they may end up just like this man. I think there's still more people alive here, Adam said with a hint of stress and fear in his voice. We can't save them all, Adam. We have to think of our mission here. We gotta get the hell out of here before those crazy fucks find us. Albert expresses his paranoia. Our very morality is at stake in certain circumstances that we cannot understand. A human being's primary mission, just like many animals, is its survival. Survival within its environment, which has been created as a game of sorts. Mental illness is just a call of insanity for the human being to return back to their roots.